Hello, guys. Welcome in to
Hello.
the stream. We have the wonderful Mick Wright on with us today. So
Hello.
would you like
I'm
to
excited
introduce
to be here. Yeah. My name is Michaela, but you can call me Mick, and I write and teach a little bit on my channel, Mick Writes, on YouTube, working on a project called Project House of Stone that gives me a lot of headaches, but we're making progress today, so that's all that matters.
Very nice. And what stage of the process will you be in today?
Yes, I am still zero drafting, like chaotically zero drafting. So I'm doing like digital and physical things. And you might see me throughout this stream get up to print out paper because that's what I've been doing. Yes.
We love a physical form. It hits different sometimes.
It hits different. I need it in both. I don't know what it is about my brain, but like I need a physical and a digital.
Yeah, I totally feel. And for anyone who's coming over from Mick's channel, hello, I'm Brielle. I'm working on draft 2 of my fantasy project, which is called Unraveling. We are currently drafting a new scene in chapter 9, so that's what I'm going to be hopefully not finishing, but making substantial progress on during this stream. And yeah. Welcome to everyone. Lots of familiar faces in the chat. Melissa. LTJ was asking what a zero draft is. Do you want to give us the Spark Notes?
Yeah. You know, I've heard people say zero draft on the internet, and I just like adopted that lingo. I think a zero draft can be whatever you want it to be. I am calling it a zero draft because I'm not like writing word for word, like every word of my chapter. Instead, I feel like it's like a really intense outlining phase. So I'm doing like a lot of bullet points and like insert this here, some sporadic dialogue that I might want to happen, overly describing the setting. So like all of my chapter by chapter outlines are like a couple pages long, but I'm not like sitting down and writing the prose yet because I get stuck on prose. So
yeah. Honestly, I feel like I need to start doing that in the future.
It's been helpful.
Yeah, I feel like I also get stuck on the prose part, and so it'd be nice to just look at story for like a draft, you know? I just tried, well, I don't know if I can quite call it a dialogue first outline, but it's like as close, or a dialogue first draft, as close as I've tried. And honestly, game changer. I was like, whoa, this is like what actually flowing without stopping kind of feels like. Like I'm actually picturing the play-by-play of the dialogue. It was really nice.
Yes.
So
it's like nice. It's better than me just acting out scenes in my room, which is what I usually do.
I love that. Yes, everyone is hyping up the new Alyssa profile picture as they should.
I thought it was different. I was like, wait, I didn't think that was Alyssa in the books in the chat, but it is. Cute profile pic.
Oh, we love it. Yes, everyone drop what they're working on in the chat and what your goals are for the stream. Hi, Andy. We'll be continuing to annotate her first draft. Amazing. Let's see. I like to do placeholders when prose gets too much, then move on. Felt.
Yeah, it's needed.
Yeah, I agree. Prose do be hard. Yeah, felt. I feel like especially the more I learn, like I feel like this makes sense, but the more I learn, the higher my standards get for my writing craft itself. So the harder it becomes to actually like write a line that I like in a reasonable amount of time. Yeah. So that part can definitely slow things down a bit. Starting my first draft over again. Godspeed.
Godspeed. So sorry, sending all the good vibes.
Yeah. I'm a dialogue first writer because I have aphantasia and can't picture things in my head. That is fair. Yeah, that makes sense. Lots of people drafting, which is interesting because last time I streamed, everyone was revising. The vibes have switched.
The vibes have switched. Are we multi-project people? I wish I could be a multi-project person.
I
I can't.
simply could never, I think, but
Me either. I could
maybe if it was
never.
like a different format, like I think I could do a novel and a screenplay at the same time or something.
Mhm.
But anything that involves like interiority, no.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, world building the kingdom in your book. That's really fun. Good luck
Ooh.
with that. Working on line edits to send back to your agent. Going on sub in 2 weeks.
That is so exciting. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, congratulations. I would
Good
love,
luck on sub.
yeah, that's really exciting. I would love for us to talk a little bit about publishing at some point during this stream, Mick. I feel like that would be
Yeah,
fun.
that'd be fun.
Working on writing a book blurb because I have put it off long enough.
I hate
Yes.
book blurbs.
They're so hard,
I'm
actually.
I'm horrible at the synopsis of anything.
Low-key, sometimes I think, like, I wonder if someone else who just read this could do a better job at making a blurb
Mhm.
from it. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
as an author, sometimes it can be really difficult to see the high level in that way and like make it
Mhm.
appealing. I don't know. Working on my first draft of my fantasy romance about to hit the
Ooh,
midpoint. Very
that's
exciting.
exciting.
We love the romantasy, girly.
Mhm.
Well, very exciting. Oh, this is funny. I wish I was drafting.
I know, I
Honestly,
just I just saw that. Fair enough.
that is fair. Sometimes I have that itch as well. I'm like, I kind of miss writing new words. So very exciting that I get to write some new scenes today. That's like, it's been a minute. Okay, cool. Well, it sounds like everyone's working on very exciting things. I wish I could get through them all, but it would be simply impossible. But yeah, okay. Maybe we'll jump right into the first sprint and then we'll have a more proper chat. Um,
Let's do it. I'm ready. I was just telling Brielle, I just came right out of figuring out a plot twist that made me like gasp at myself, being like, I'm a genius. How to come up with that. So I'm ready to jump right in.
I love
Keep
that.
this momentum going.
Yes, momentum. We love it. All right, we're gonna do a 25-minute sprint, everybody. And we're gonna try Pomo Focus IO out today because that's what the streaming girlies be using, and I want to try it. So let's see how that goes. All right, good luck.
Good luck, everyone.
how was everybody's sprint? How was that for you?
I did pretty good. I wrote 2 pages of things.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh my
I'll
God.
take it. See, it goes faster though with this. And honestly, the font is really big. Let's be real. So
okay. Well, very impressive. I wrote like 200 words. It wasn't, I don't love it, but it made me realize maybe a different way I could structure it. So I'm going to take that as a win. At least now I kind of know maybe what needs to happen.
That's good.
Yeah. Also, yes, the typing sounds. Someone did ask if I could mute, but more people like it. So if it bothers you, just turn off the volume on your computer or phone.
It's relaxing. Sounds
I'm
nice.
glad you think so. I find it relaxing.
I know. I want a chunky keyboard so bad. I just have like a little one, and so it doesn't make any sound.
Oh. Yeah, I purposely wanted a noisy one.
I want a noisy one too. I want to ASMR my writing experience.
Honestly, it makes every word feel more monumental when you have the little clicking sound.
Right? It's more important when the clicking is happening.
Literally. I'm like, I'm writing very important things. Thank you. Looks like everyone had a good sprint, read through about 20 pages of my CP's book, and the drama is intense. Oh, yeah, she said she was reading for a critique partner. Very nice. 294, great sprint. 340. Ooh. Looks like it was very productive for everyone. Because I got distracted by my kitten, I only got 49 words.
Fair enough.
It's a great thing to be distracted by. Got through 8 pages on annotation, feeling mixed emotions about the chapter I'm editing, but honestly, what's new? That is the revising experience, mixed emotions through and through. Okay, good. Happy to see it was productive for everyone. If everyone would like to drop some questions or topics you would like us to converse about into the chat, we can jump into that now. Yeah.
I saw that you were researching how to find fresh water. That's fun.
I am. When I tell you I would not, like, I know no survival basics, like 0 survival basics.
Me too. Me too.
So thank God I'm not trying to write a character that knows survival basics, but the people around her do. So I at least have to know a little bit.
That makes sense.
Yeah. What were you researching?
I was researching chemical compounds, which I also know nothing about.
What are you researching chemical compounds for? Give us the...
For like drug names that I could create, like a fake drug name. Trying to mash words together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, that's fun. Okay.
I know, it does seem like everyone was researching.
Yeah, I know.
In the comments.
That's so funny. I love it. Okay, lots of questions. I'm going to sift. It's going to take a moment. Okay, yes. Would love to hear about publishing thoughts since you brought that up at the start. Let's start there. Mick, would you like to share your publishing hopes, plans, etc.?
Sure. Yeah, I feel like publishing, I obviously dream is to be published. And I don't know yet which avenue I want to take. I think both traditional and self-publishing are great avenues and have pros and cons of either. And so I think I'm going to wait until this first draft is fully done with this book to see what avenue I really want to do. Probably decide on that before I go into revisions, because it will probably influence, I guess, how I do revisions. Like, I'm going to do it myself, but then should I spend the money on a professional editor if I self-publish, or should I just revise myself and try to query? So yeah, I haven't chosen yet, but definitely being published in any avenue is big goal.
Nice.
That's
so interesting. I actually feel like um, most people I've talked to have kind of made up their mind one way or the other. So it's very interesting that you're still kind of like considering both options. But there definitely are like substantial pros and cons to both. So it could be tricky to decide for sure.
It is. I think both are just, it's very different journeys. It's like
Yeah.
one, you're starting a business, and two, you are kind of at the whim of other people. Like your fate is kind of in the control of others. So, yeah, I think I just have to see how this book goes. I think it's also because I don't know if I want this book necessarily to be like the debut book. And
Mm,
so I want to see, feel it out a little bit more.
yeah. There is a lot of pressure put on a debut. It freaks me out sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's helped me a lot too. Well, it's a little bit obviously different with trad pub, but like at least in the self-publishing sphere, I've heard a lot of people be like, "Your debut will probably be your weakest novel, and that's okay. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
not everyone has to find you through your debut, blah blah blah." And so I've been trying to like accept some of that, but at the same time, it's like you do want to have a good first impression, especially if you have like an audience of people who are excited for the book and all of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, lots to think about. Um, Thanks for the question, Andy. That was fire. I feel like I've shared my publishing thoughts, but I'll give a quick overview for those who have not seen that video or just don't know me. I am hoping to self-publish, so hopefully this will be my debut book. Yeah, I like the businessy side, which is why self-publishing
Mm-hmm.
made sense for me. And I do also like the idea of having all of the control and like getting to orchestrate all of that. Sounds really fun to me. So, okay. Do any of you have any ideas how to come over the stump of writing the first 3 to 4 chapters to sound less boring in a way, get the story going? So basically, how do you make your setup portion not boring and start the action of the story is how I'm taking this question. It's a great one. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, there's some advice that I heard actually in a YouTube video that I watched recently. I'll have to find it in my history so I can send it to you guys in the comments. But the woman talking was talking about like not really necessarily starting, but that's how I now restarted my novel. She's talking about how to build a character's wants, and the best place, I guess, for a story to start is to take what your character wants away from them,
Ooh.
because then they have that goal to be going forward. So and then I kind of just started looking at other books of like, okay, there is a lot of books that start with something being taken away, and that's like what launches them into the story. Um, I feel like, at least for me, I always try to have the start be some part of the momentum, like the story's already gaining momentum. Even though in past manuscripts that I've written, I will write a couple first chapters, and then I realize in like revisions 1 or 2, okay, I can cut like 2 chapters and actually start it at chapter 3 because that's where the story gets going. So I think either try to figure out what that momentum piece is and start right before the momentum begins or it starts to pick up, or write a couple of those setup chapters just to like get your brain flowing, get you into the world and the character, and then figure out if you can chop any chapters off.
I think that's such great advice. What I would add to that is I think throwing the reader into an unfamiliar environment right away, whether that's
Mm-hmm.
the characters in an unfamiliar environment for them or it's just an environment the reader doesn't recognize, I think is a really great way to grab interest. Um, Usually I feel like boring setup comes if like we're seeing the character do the type of thing that we do every day. Like we don't need to have breakfast with your character on a random day and like go with them to school if that's not like the day where it all happens. Like that's where I feel like your setup can get kind of dry. So yeah, I would say even if it's not the inciting incident, throw us in with something that's like a really punchy circumstance or
Mm-hmm.
situation that immediately has us like, where are we? Like, what's happening? Or like, how are they going to cope with the scenario? Who is this person? Like if you can present a lot of questions actually at first rather than answers, I feel like that's where you get an interesting setup. Those are my thoughts. How do you get excited about your project again? How to be pumped and motivated as you were at the start? Great question. Weirdly, I have not had any like big slumps in motivation, so I don't really know exactly how to give advice on this, which I know is very like odd.
I know. I was like, I'm jealous. What?
I think it's just because I take breaks when I lose interest in the project, and then it naturally comes back within like a week, which to me is a fine amount of time to step away. So it doesn't. I don't view it as an issue to need those moments. But for me, if I'm like feeling kind of like in the slog, maybe I'll revisit a scene I really like, whether that's like reading it over or like just visualizing it, thinking about my characters in more of like a daydreamy way. It's like bringing me back to the shining moments when I'm struggling with maybe the scenes that are a little more difficult or that don't come as naturally. Just looking at the pieces that I like, whether that's like actually on the page or just like in a Pinterest board or in your brain. That's what helps me. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I definitely have, I guess, the vice of falling out pretty quickly. I have like shiny new, object syndrome. And so I always am getting new story ideas while writing. So I have to like train myself to not go there. But when I need to like feel excited about this work again, I do like very similar things. I love going back to my Pinterest board. My Pinterest board has like 1,000 pins of the story. I'm a very visual person, so it helps me like re-immerse myself in what I feel like the world is looking like and the characters and the actions they're taking, as well as just listening to the Spotify playlist that I make for writing while doing like non-writing things, like I'm driving to the grocery store or now I'm going on a walk. And if I'm listening to the writing playlist, it just helps me, Brielle, kind of like you said, like daydream about my characters in like a fun, not serious way. And
Yeah.
that gets me excited to write.
I agree. And I think that's a good point. Like it's almost when your brain is turned off and you're doing mundane tasks that I feel like it's the most fruitful for getting re-inspired. Like
Yeah.
literally, if you are on the verge of falling asleep, you're in the shower, you're driving, that's when I get all my big ideas and therefore my big spikes in inspiration. Because for me, like fresh ideas and inspiration kind of goes hand in hand. Obviously, that makes you more excited for the project once you have like something you're excited to add in. Like Mick was talking about her plot twist earlier that she's all excited about and how that's giving her momentum. So yeah, I agree. I feel like we have a lot of the same tips. It's like what Pinterest board, Spotify playlist, whatever, like whatever materials you have for your book that bring you into that like dreamy state is the place to be.
The place to be, for sure.
Yes. And I was just going to address this one real quick. That was, where is it? From Jasmine. What do you like better, writing the first draft or editing, revising? I'm not going to lie, writing the first draft. I heard another author, creator, Katie Wismer, if you guys know her, say that draft 2 was her least favorite part of the process. And it was a little bit validating because I was like, draft 2 has been a little hellish. And I actually think the later revising will be very nice and satisfying and calming. But draft 2 has been a bit hellish. So yeah, probably writing the first draft, I would say. Also want to address this. I heard in trad publishing, you lose your rights to your book and they can change things in your book. That's the sole reason why I chose self-publishing. I'm pretty sure that is not true. I don't know a ton about trad publishing, but I don't think they can just change things without your consent as the writer.
Yeah, I don't think that's true either, from what I know.
Yes.
I agree with what Alyssa said.
Oh, yes.
But also agree with her second statement that I also could just be gaslighting myself. I have no idea. But from friends who are now published, I don't feel like that is true. I feel like I would have heard them talk about that.
Yeah.
experience.
I'm sure they can like give strong suggestions, but not like
Mm-hmm.
force changes or go in there and change things themselves. I'm pretty sure. But yes. Okay. Bath time has solved many a plot hole for me.
Love
Yeah.
that.
I was telling Mick before we hopped on stream, I don't think I said this on camera, but I was really stuck
Mm-hmm.
on this chapter and I complain about it a lot in a writing vlog that will be coming out next week, but I was really stuck and I was like not sure how to crack it. And then literally at 5 in the morning, I had just gotten up to go to the bathroom and then I was like, wait, like suddenly I was having like visuals of the scenes. I was picturing dialogue. I was like, wait a second. So I had to like scramble to write it down at 5 in the morning. Um, so yeah, sometimes it's the unexpected times where your subconscious is just kind of chilling that ideas can come up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they can force you to make changes. It's in your contract, but they won't make the changes for you. That is interesting. Huh. I feel like I've never heard that, but maybe it depends on your relationship with your publisher as well and like what
Yeah, I
those.
think Ashley has the comment response to that. Yeah, like your agent will negotiate your contract and like make sure you have like the best terms in there possible, which is why picking a great agent is super key because they get to do all that legal negotiating for you so that maybe that doesn't happen.
Yeah. The legal copyright will go to a publisher, but I believe that's more about distribution. Yeah, I don't think it's like
Mm-hmm.
that they
Mm-hmm.
suddenly have control over your work.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, if you have an agent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Very fair.
there we go. And I think that's why people have agents to negotiate the contract so they don't take advantage of you. True.
Exactly.
I'm sure there's like it's kind of like the same with working with brands and stuff. It's like people will try to sneak things into contracts. Like that is a thing in industries. And if you don't have the eyes for it, I could see something like that happening where you sign away your life, but
Mm-hmm.
gotta at least have someone who knows contracts look over those things, even if you don't have an agent, I feel like.
Yeah, never sign a contract blind, guys. That's just like life 101. Any contract. Don't go in blind signing contracts.
Yes, facts. Also, I think this is interesting. I'm thinking of writing in dual POV. There's something that one of the protagonists maybe would know, but I don't want the readers to know
Mm.
about it till the other protagonist finds out. Any advice? What do you think on this?
It's hard without knowing what it is. Like, what type of thing would they know?
Hmm.
But I don't know because I'm like, oh my gosh, if it's like a mystery genre, that completely would change my answer compared to like fantasy, contemporary. I think there are ways though that you can be vague on
Hmm.
the page that will elicit questions from your reader that then the next POV can answer. That makes
Yes.
sense. Like you can let the character who knows this secretive thing just go about acting like they know it. And it's going to cause the reader to ask questions, but then just make sure you answer those then with the other POV when they like find out whatever. Like if the
Totally.
reader is finding out with them, if that makes any sense at all.
I agree. I do think it's important though to at least, like Mick said, have those almost hints there of like this one character does know this thing and not just avoid it entirely because I've seen that go, in my opinion, go bad. Like, oh God, is it Flawless? That Elsie Silver book. Um,
Oh yeah.
yes, was it that book? There was one book where yeah, I think it was her ex ended up marrying her sister, and it's used as a reveal. So she thinks about the ex, she talks to the ex, he's in the story, but then we don't find out that they're married, even though she's known the whole time until towards the end. And it was clearly
Mm-hmm.
held for the reader for dramatic effect. But in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion, something massive like that, I don't buy that the character would never think about. Like it seemed very
That's a good
obvious
point.
because we were in her head. It was first person, and she would think about him, but conveniently not think about the fact that he married her sister until it was being used as a twist. So I guess the learning from that, because I had a hard time buying that, would be if it's something that the character, the dual POV character that does know this information, if it's something that they would be thinking about a lot or something big in their life, you have to at least speak of it vaguely so that it's not unbelievable that we never found out about it, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, plant those
Right.
seeds at least if it is a major thing to that character. Yeah, that would be my thoughts.
Yeah, everyone has some really good advice in the chat too.
Oh yes, let's pull that up. Yes, exactly. Work details that are like Easter eggs into the knowing character's POV. Totally. Let's see what else. So when the audience learns the plot twist you have planned, all the Easter eggs click and the story still makes sense and it's cohesive. Absolutely. I agree. The trick is to keep things vague. Totally. For the dual POV, you need to make the readers make a logical fallacy and wrongly assume.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Like the diary in Gone Girl, readers assume that someone's diary will always contain the truth. Maybe structuring the chapter so it ends with one POV learning the info, but they have a poker face and you don't actually reveal it until the other POV learns. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, glad that all of this was helpful. It's a bit of a tricky situation for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely, anytime you are like, I don't know, having a narrator who isn't truthful or they know something that the reader doesn't find out until later, I feel like that takes so much like structural planning and rereading and making sure that like you are leaving the clues and the Easter eggs and that they all make sense. That's why I give my props to all mystery and thriller writers because you guys are doing God's work out there. Like, geez.
Me too.
That was hard.
So hard. That'd be so hard. Especially because I don't know if you do this as well, but sometimes because as the writer, you know all of the context and all the information, you could just forget to add it in, thinking that the reader knows because you know, like, oh wait, I never actually mentioned this critical detail on the page because I just kind of assumed the reader knew.
All the time. Anytime I wrote my other manuscripts, reading it back, I was always like, how did I never say one time on the physical page, like this happened or this was supposed to be a thing? When I have like pages of it in my research portion, yeah, it's crazy.
Yep, I feel that. Yeah. So I feel like that's also a thing that comes up with like beta readers and stuff. Like I'm ready for there to be comments in the draft that's just like, what is this thing? You've never mentioned it before and now you're talking about it like we know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. My only thought on this is that it reminds me of Six of Crows. With 6 POVs, she definitely hides information fairly well. I cannot wait to read Six of Crows. I know I'm going to love it. I've not done it yet.
It's very good.
Okay. Amazing. Cries and thriller writer. I love that. Shall we jump into a second sprint?
Let's do it.
Great chat, everyone. That was very fun. I'll pull back up the Pomodoro and good luck.
Good luck, everyone.
Okay, how was everyone's second sprint?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I did 3 pages this time.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Printing spree. Thank you. Again, the font is pretty big, but it's okay.
That's still incredible. I am struggling to get like the right words down, but am making it to more of a dialogue part of the scene, which is helping. And I did pass 78K in the word count, so that's
That's
fun.
exciting.
every 1,000 that I pass now is really exciting because it's happening a lot slower. So, yeah, I'm gonna take that as a big win. 351, great, congrats. Writing a mystery is so hard because I want my detective to be smart, and I am. I feel like trying to write any character that's like smart or savvy at something is hard.
Yeah.
I was spamming a name generator because I can't come up with a kingdom name for the life of me. Helps.
Fair. Valid.
Yes. 200 words away from 50K. Congrats. That's such an exciting milestone. 781 words is also great for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
421 words. Nice. Very nice. 700 words in Finnish, 900-ish in English. Wow. Liking how I'm portraying characters. Awesome.
Fast writers.
Yeah, really. I cannot relate. 476, that's great. As part of the decision on how episodic my novel will be, I've narrowed down villain of the week candidates to 15, not including the primary overarching antagonist. Awesome. Great progress, Adam. Writing horror and struggling with whether or not it's actually scary or not.
That's valid too. Because scary, like you said, like that's subjective.
Yes.
And so,
and I also
that's hard.
Like, sometimes the subtler, the scarier, at least to me.
Like, I agree.
The more you can leave to the imagination, the more mysterious you can be. I find that scarier. Yeah. I wrote a horror film once, and it was such an interesting experience. It was my first time ever trying to write in that genre, and it's just interesting how different you're trying to of an effect you're trying to craft, if that makes sense. Like very challenging, but also very fun in a very different way from fantasy and such. Just hopped in, was able to get a few sentences in my opening scene for chapter 7 in my epic dark fantasy.
Ooh, fun.
Intriguing. It looks like a very productive sprint all around. 10 pages of annotations. Amazing. Wow. The horror is pretty subtle, so maybe I'll keep with that and just finish the after. I think so. I feel like sometimes
that's always my go-to. Fix
exactly. It also maybe ramp it up, then have to like really trim it back. So I feel like that's a good approach. Also realizing how much part 2 needs beefing up, but then also wondering if that's my insecurity speaking. Who knows? Felt.
Yeah. That's a hard delineation, I think, when are you editing your own work, Andy, or like annotating your own work? I feel like that is like hard because you're so close to the project. And so it is kind of like, am I just being too hard on myself? Or like, is this actually missing something? Or am I feel like there should be something missing, so I'm trying to think of something. It's like such a hard line when it's your own work, I feel.
Totally agree. And I feel like part 2 is often the part that needs beefing up in revision. And so it can be tricky to know how much of this do we actually have to see? Like, is enough on the page? Blah, blah, blah. So totally relate. Yes, I am, which is definitely an added layer of difficulty because I get the plot, but like, what a reader.
Right. Like how Brielle and I were saying, like, you know everything, but then is it actually on the page?
Right.
Like, you just get so into the world sometimes that it is kind of hard to differentiate. That's why beta readers are really great, because you can get like a reader perspective, which can help confirm or deny your suspicions if part 2 needs beefing up or if they understand the plot. I'm always worried no one's going to understand what the heck I'm saying in a book.
felt. And that's a great point. I do feel like that's where beta readers are so valuable because, like, when I've done beta reading in the past, it's so obvious as the reader what you want to see. Like, beta read a book and there was like the big first date scene, and then like they arrived and then the chapter cut off, and I was like, wait. I want to see this whole date. Like, that was obvious, but maybe as the writer, she was like, this scene has been going on long enough. Like, let's wrap it up. So I feel like, yeah, sometimes you just need someone else to be like, wait, I want to see that scene. I want to see this happen. I want to see that happen. Because I know I'm struggling with trying to figure out, like, do I need more action or do I need more relationship? And I feel like I need almost another person to be like, I want to see something crazy happen here, or I just want to see them talk in the tent for a bit, you know? Yeah. Yeah. Well, shall we wrap her up? Thank you so much for joining, Mick. This was so nice.
Yeah. Thank you. No, it's definitely getting to be my bedtime. I am a grandma, guys, like more and more. And every time I do writing sprints too and like stay up late, I'm like, oof, your girl is getting old.
Because I'm on the West Coast, I feel like a lot of times the people I sprint with are on the East Coast, so they're up a little bit late to sprint with me. But I appreciate you accommodating my West Coast hours. It's very
absolutely sweet. Always get to write with you and see how you're doing on your project too.
Yes, always love chatting about our works in progress. And thank you to everyone in the chat. I hope you guys enjoyed all the talking and the sprints. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. I'm gonna go eat dinner. Much needed.
Definitely dinner.
Yes. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.